Gift Horse, written by Carl Edward Orr. Fade in. Exterior residential neighborhood day. Dawson, in his early 30s, is gaunt and a little scruffy, but attired like a college professor in a tweed blazer with elbow patches, slacks, and desert boots. He ambles rather than walks, lost in thought. As he passes a house with a fenced yard that extends close to the sidewalk, a large, vicious dog races out and slams against the fence, mere inches from Dawson on the other side, and barks at him. Dawson is startled. He stops and turns toward the dog, and as he does, the dog stops barking.
Grrr! You too, you big brute.
They glare at each other for a couple of seconds, and Dawson continues on, the dog sitting silently and staring after him. Exterior, residential neighborhood further along, day. Standing beside a large American sedan, an older gentleman holds the passenger door open for his wife. Both are dressed up. He has on a light blue suit and tie, and his wife wears a brown skirt and pink blouse. After his wife gets in the car and is seated, the man closes the door and walks around to the driver's side and gets in and backs into the street. Exterior, residential neighborhood, day. Dawson, who has stopped his amble, watches intently, and after they have driven off and are out of sight, he immediately crosses the street to their driveway and goes directly into the backyard. Interior, kitchen, day. The back door suddenly opens suddenly. Dawson, wearing blue latex gloves, holds a plastic card in one hand. He has fallen forward into the kitchen and struggles to regain his balance, and at the same time grabs the door to stop it from banging against the wall.
Jesus.
He locks the back door. He takes a kettle from the stovetop and fills it with water and puts it on the stove and clicks the eye on underneath it. As the water is heating, he methodically goes through all the cupboards and drawers and examines the contents. Somehow satisfied nothing is of value, he puts everything back as he found it, except for a tea bag that he puts in a cup taken from the cupboard. The kettle barely whistles before Dawson pulls it off the stove and pours steaming hot water into the cup over the tea bag. As his tea steeps, Dawson makes 2 sandwiches with ingredients from the refrigerator and bread box. One he makes with a slice of ham and cheese, pickles and mayo. The other is peanut butter and jelly. Dawson replaces everything in the refrigerator and bread box and carefully cleans up all traces of being there. He puts the peanut butter and jelly sandwich into a Ziploc bag that he has taken during his search and slips it into his jacket pocket. Hungrily eating the ham sandwich, he removes the tea bag from the steaming cup and spoons in sugar and adds a splash of cream. Interior, living room, day. Eating the sandwich and sipping his tea, Dawson enters the living room, screening himself from view of the street by moving along one wall until he reaches the drapes. He stands there studying the street and passing cars until he finishes his sandwich, draining his tea. He arranges a napkin on the coffee table and places the cup on it. He goes through everything in the room, examining the contents of the shelves and drawers, methodically replacing everything as he finds it.
Nothing.
Interior, stairs, day. Light on his feet as a dancer, Dawson bounds up the stairs to the 2nd floor. Interior, hallway, day. Here, he's confronted by 4 doors in the hallway. One is ajar and can be seen to be the bathroom. Dawson opens the door and goes inside. Interior, bathroom, day. He studies the oversized shower with stainless steel rails and the toilet, and then goes through the medicine cabinet, studying each item before replacing it.
More garbage.
Interior, master bedroom, day. Dawson opens the door and peers inside, his eyes roaming, first across the empty bed and then toward the window that is shuttered and covered with thick curtains. Satisfied no one is inside, he goes directly to a jewelry box on the dresser and removes several pieces, placing a jeweler's loupe up to his eye, and carefully studies each piece.
Crap.
He puts everything back and goes to the bed and looks under the pillows and pulls up the mattress. He runs his hand inside the gap. On the opposite side, he pulls out a pistol and, shaking his head like a disapproving crow, he aims it toward the door.
Bang! Fucking Saturday night special. Sorry, you're not dead. Just got shot. Uh-oh.
Still laughing to himself, he puts the pistol back where he found it, and nodding his head to a tune only he can hear, he rummages through the closet, hardly taking interest in what he finds.
Starvation Army would mess on this crap.
Interior, hallway, day. Dawson stops in front of the remaining 2 doors.
Well, Monty, which door will it be? Number 1 or number 2?
Not hesitating, he opens one of the doors and steps inside. Bedroom number 2, day. The door closes automatically and leaves Dawson in the half-lit room. The only light is a green iridescent glow that streams from several extremely large fish aquariums filled with salt water, seaweed, and tropical fish. They line the walls, and the space is both oppressive and claustrophobic. A slight wheezing sound emanates from near a hospital bed where Billy, in his late teens, lies motionless.
Sorry, I didn't know anyone was home.
The figure in the bed remains motionless.
Technically, dude, Elvis has left the fucking building.
Dawson moves closer. Turning his head ever so slowly, Billy looks up and snarls.
You know, I can fucking call out, asshole. So don't just think I'm a veggie boy.
Dawson, taken aback, moves away from the bed.
Yeah, and I can got the phone wires.
That old trick won't fly, asshole.
And why not?
Because emergency services will be here before you get your ugly ass downstairs.
Defiantly, Dawson moves over and sits down in the chair that has been placed near the bed.
Well, guess we have a Mexican standoff, don't we?
No way, Jose. My nurse is going to be here in a few minutes. And then you're fucked because she's got a black belt in Taekwondo from Chuck Norris.
Ooh, I'm scared shitless. Why is it so damn hot in here?
Because the fish tanks are heated down ass.
Well, yeah, I hope they like it, because I don't.
They're tropical fish down ass. They like nice and warm.
Dawson gets up and moves close to the tanks where he studies the fish who move leisurely through strands of seaweed.
Are we going anywhere with this conversation?
The clock's ticking till they haul you off to jail. Unless you agree to do something for me. Then you can just walk out. Nobody will ever know you were here.
Dawson turns and looks at Billy, who stares back.
What's this something you want me to do?
I want you to turn off my respirator.
Taken aback, Dawson sits down in the chair.
No way, kid. I don't do that.
It's not murder. It's just helping me commit suicide, that's all.
No.
If you don't, I'm going to say you broke in and tried to smother me with a pillow.
Dawson leans over and sticks his face right into Billy's.
You don't want to do that.
You want that, you asshole?
Dawson leans back and takes in several long, deep lungfuls of air.
How'd you get like you are?
Oh, you think knowing all the juicy details about how a poor little boy got paralyzed will make it easier to snuff him out?
Dawson grits his teeth.
I need something to work with, so help me out here. I'm struggling.
Well, asshole, just think about prison and being a human pincushion for butt fuckers. How's that motivate you?
Unable to hold back his anger, Dawson stands up abruptly and knocks over the chair.
I'm gonna leave now, and trust me, nobody in their right mind will believe a word you say.
Yeah, and like they're gonna believe a junkie burger. Whatever the fuck you are, already in the house stealing stuff.
I'm not a junkie, I'm a poet, and I only do drugs recreation.
Woo, woo, whatever. But you did break in the house looking for money and drugs, right?
Dawson takes a long, hard look inside himself, and the view is not what he wants to see. He glances up at Billy and nods.
Yeah, I did. Unfortunately.
Well, unplug the damn thing and go downstairs and wait. And come back up and plug it back in. And then get the hell out of Dodge. Nobody will know nothing.
I'll know for the rest of my life.
And for a burglar, you sure don't have any balls. How about if I tell you where there's a safe full of money? Will you turn it off then?
Dawson, who's extremely angry, manages to get control of himself and turns and studies Billy. He picks up the chair.
How much money are we talking about?
A shitload from the insurance company. Graham's got it in cash because he don't trust banks.
Maybe if I keep looking, I'll find it myself.
You'll still be looking when the cops bust in and drag your scrawny ass off, kicking and screaming.
Dawson composes himself and sits down even closer to Billy.
So I'm listening now, Chad.
You screw this up, and I swear to God I'll tell him you molested me.
Dawson is drawn up in a knot emotionally. He is so conflicted.
Kid, all I have is my word, and if that's not enough, and if you don't trust me, that's your hard luck.
Yeah. Right. You being a word man and all. I'm a sticks and stones man myself.
Dawson continues fighting back his anger.
So where's this big old safe full of what? Confederate money?
You got any idea what happens in child molesters in prison?
How would a little punk-ass kid like you know anything like that?
My dad was a cop. He told me the god-awful things the cons do to him.
Your dad looked kind of old to be a cop.
I'm an orphan. You must be talking about my grandparents, because my parents are dead and buried.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
How'd you like to trade places with me? Stare at these goddamn fish all day.
Dawson watches the fish chase after each other.
Spend your life day after day waiting to die, and it never happened.
So where's the safe?
So we got a deal word, man?
Dawson nods his head.
Yeah. What's your name?
You don't need to know that. The more impersonal it is, the better it is. You understand?
Yeah, I understand. All right, let's do this bit of business and get it over with.
No second thoughts? No religious hang-ups about it?
I have plenty of them. What about you?
Shit. Get real work, man. If I'm gonna be punished, it won't be no worse than this.
I won't argue that.
Good. In the next room, this ugly-ass picture of a girl with big eyes. Frames hanging so it swings out. It saves behind it.
What about the combination?
It's under the painter's signature. It's real small. Looks like a date.
Dawson bends down and finds the cord and puts his hand on the plug.
You sure you won't do it this way?
Hell yes, I'm sure. You get the hell out of here and pull the plug out, because I want to be by myself when I flame out. You got me?
Dawson pulls the plug. Interior hallway day. He closes the door and stands for a few seconds taking in what he's done, then walks to the door of the other room and reaches toward the doorknob. Suddenly, he pulls his hand back as if shocked and grimaces and shakes his head.
No way, Jose.
Interior kitchen day. Dawson pours milk into the same cup he used for his tea and takes his peanut butter and jelly sandwich out and eats it, slowly staring into space. Interior Billy's bedroom day. Dawson stands directly over Billy, who does not move a muscle. Billy has a smile on his face like he's done something he wasn't supposed to do and gotten away with it.
I'd say something, kid. But for a word man, I have no words.
Dawson is crying. He plugs the machine back in and gets up and backs out of the room. Interior living room day. Dawson is coming down the steps when there is the sound of a car pulling in the driveway. Sidling along the wall, he eases toward the front door and slips behind the drapes just before the back door opens. An older woman in scrubs walks to the room carrying a bag and trudges heavily up the stairs. When she's out of sight, Dawson slips out from behind the drapes and walks quickly toward the kitchen. Exterior sidewalk day. Dawson has walked a good distance away when there is the sound of a siren. A couple of seconds later, an ambulance, with all the lights flashing, passes and begins slowing down.